Kevin Stefanski stood at the podium, answered the questions, thanked his players, and did everything a professional head coach is supposed to do. But if you listened closely, really listened, it was obvious this wasn't about football anymore. This was a man processing the end of something he already knew was over. And once you notice it, you can't unhear it, because nothing about this press conference sounded like someone who expected to be back. The tone was different from the very first question. Stefanski wasn't defensive. He wasn't optimistic. He wasn't selling a vision for the future. Instead, he sounded reflective, careful, almost deliberate with every word, like someone choosing them for the last time. And that's where the story really begins. One reporter finally asked the question everyone in the room was thinking, but nobody wanted to say out loud. After hearing Stefanski celebrating with players in the locker room, the reporter asked how badly he wanted to continue coaching this team, and whether he believed his job could still be saved. Stefanski didn't hesitate. He didn't pause to craft an answer. He shut it down immediately. Respectfully, this game's not about me. That was it. No defense of his resume. No declaration that he wanted to stay. No confidence that ownership believed in him. Just a clean deflection. And what he didn't say mattered far more than what he did. Because coaches who believe they're coming back don't dodge that question. They say it proudly. They talk about unfinished business. They talk about lessons learned and growth and momentum. Stefanski did none of that. Instead, he redirected everything to his players, almost aggressively, like even entertaining the idea of his future wasn't something he wanted attached to this moment. That's not uncertainty. That's acceptance, and the wording told the entire story. Respectfully was the key word. That's the verbal equivalent of drawing a line. It's a polite way of saying, I'm not going there because I already know the answer. At that moment, it became clear this press conference wasn't about whether Kevin Stefanski would be back. It was about how he was choosing to leave, and the timing made it impossible to ignore. Multiple reports had already surfaced that Browns ownership was scheduled to meet Monday morning to decide Stefanski's future. Not a casual check-in, not a vote of confidence, a meeting. And teams don't call those meetings to say everything's fine. Those meetings are about logistics, messaging, endings. Stefanski knew it. Everyone in the building knew it. And once you realize that, everything he said afterward takes on a completely different meaning. Throughout the press conference, Stefanski went out of his way to remove himself from the narrative. Anytime a question drifted toward his coaching, his decisions, or his future, he pivoted instantly back to the locker room. He talked about players stepping up when injuries piled up. He praised backups forced into starting roles. He highlighted resilience during a season that had already fallen apart. This wasn't accidental. This was a coach intentionally making sure his final moments weren't defined by failure, but by appreciation. When asked about individual performances, he refused to take credit. The game-winning field goal? All about the kicker's confidence. Myles Garrett breaking records? That was about legacy, leadership, and respect. He even called Garrett the sack king, not as a soundbite, but with genuine pride in his voice. You could hear it, and that emotion matters.